Okay, so let's continue with the day 14. Day 14, right? Or day 15? It's day 15. So day 15, we are ML in depth course or part 1, or you can regard it as data analytics in depth. Okay, so we are doing a data analytics in depth or data analysis in depth with Python. So let us quickly revise what we discussed yesterday. A data frame looks something like an Excel sheet. On the top, you are having a columns. On this side, you are having rows. You can also call rows as what? What is rows called as?
Index.
Index. Okay, you can also call it as an index. Also, this is what axis?
0.
Axis 0. This is axis
1.
1. Okay. If you want to point to any of these things, there were 2 methods to point over here. What were those 2 methods?
Lock, iLock.
LOC and ILOC. Okay. So what was the difference between LOC and ILOC?
ILOC is like internal location, like
So
index.
index will be always from 0, 1, 2, and it won't be any repeated. And how about LOC?
LOC is the external index, meaning whatever index we have defined in the program.
Whatever index we have defined. So if I have defined as a row 1, row 2, then I will be referring as a row 1 or row 2 or whatever. So this was a difference between LOC and ILOC. And if you want to access a column, so over here you had to access using data frame dot. And over here, if you want to access column 1 or column 2, how will you access it? How to access a column?
Without using LOC.
Without using anything, right? Just give call 1 and call 2 or whatever. Right? Perfect. So remembering this thing, let's resume where we left. So, save this, write a recap.
While we are loading this data frame or we are like creating them, are we concerned about the schema also? Like we are loading a row or column kind of thing.
So schema will be most of the times you will just infer the schema from whatever data you have.
Yeah, so that's my question. Like, do we have any functions for that to infer schema? Like,
yes, we actually defined on the top when we were doing series, right? You could specify the column name. Over here also we can also specify what should be the column name, what should be a data type, and everything.
Yeah, because like in Scala, like we have data frame always like first it will need a schema to be processed like the data.
So yeah, you can again infer the schema or you can specify what is a schema.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So let us start with this one. DFI is the name of a data frame. While you are working on any of the practical applications or you're writing any of the notebooks, usually you won't make DF1, DF2, DF3, DF4, DF5. Usually you will only keep a single data frame called as a DF. Okay. I won't say that DF1 is equal to DF dot something. Okay. Some transformation or some processing. Then I won't say DF2 is equal to DF dot something. Why I don't do is because if I start doing like this will take some amount of RAM. This will again store the data in your RAM. This will again store your data in RAM and so on. And your RAM will get full. Okay. So when you are doing a practical, which we'll be doing in EDA, right? When you're writing your own notebooks for exploratory data analysis, when you're doing a data analysis by yourself, you won't make DF1, DF2, DF3, DF4, and DF5 like this, right? You will always override the data into a df. So df dot something will come in a df dot something will again come in a df, so that the same memory location is utilized and the previous data is overwritten, right? So that you save on the RAM space. So since I have written this df5 df6, do not do that in your practical or when you're writing your own notebooks, because if you do that way, you will eat a lot of RAM. So let's go ahead. So we are doing a df5 is pandas dot data frame 9 reshape 33, index this r1 r2 r3 column abc and printing it. So can you explain what will this give? What will be the size of a data frame?
It's like a 3x3 matrix from 0 to 9, 0 to 8.
3 cross 3.
So
First
the
row will
data
be
frame.
0, 1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What are the indexes?
Indexes, row indexes will be like R1, R2,
R1,
R3,
R2, R3, and column name will be ABC.
and
So let us execute and see what we discuss. Okay, we got this particular data frame ABC. Okay, so let's try to understand this particular function. So this is a function and it's a lambda function because you see that a lambda keyword, right? We have discussed this when we studied Python. So this is a function because we have a lambda keyword over here. This is the input parameter on the left hand side. That is, I am passing an x value, and the output parameter is x of max minus x of min. That is, it is going to take the maximum value, subtract it with the minimum value that is present over here. So let's say if I apply this particular function df5 dot apply func. So what I'm doing is I am applying this particular function to this data frame. So what it will do is, what this particular function will do is, it will take entire this content 0, 3, and 6. Okay, when you apply this particular function, it will take this 0, 3, and 6 and pass it to the x. Then what is the maximum out of 0, 3, and 6? Obviously 6 is the maximum. What is the minimum of 0, 3, and 6? 0 is the minimum. So 6 minus 0 is 6. So it is going to return you the 6, right? Once it has processed this, once it has processed this particular row, the next it will do is, it will take this particular entire columns, right? So it will take, what is the maximum again? Maximum is 7. Maximum is 7 now. 7, minimum is 1. So it will give you 6. So you see over here the 6. Then after that, it will take this particular data 2, 5, and 8. The maximum is 8, minimum is 2. It will be 6. And you see this 6. So if you don't specify anything, in the apply, by default, it will take the entire data as a row wise, right? R1, R2, R3 data for a given column, if you don't specify anything. So first, second, and third. So you get this 6, 6, and 6. In the second instructions just written below, in the second instruction that is just written below, over here we are specifying this access column. So if you specify this access column, what it will do is, it will take like this. Data will be taken as along the columns. So you have specified the access as column. So it is going to take, the maximum will be 2, x of max, maximum is 2, minimum is 0. So you get 2. You see over here. Then it will do for the next one, 3, 4, and 5. You see 5 is maximum, 3 is minimum, 2. 8, 6, and 7. The maximum is 8, minimum is 6. So you get this 2, right? Any doubts in this applying a lambda function and how you're getting this output? Anyone having any questions?
So it searches all the data, is it? Compares meaning all maximum of all data and minimum of all, is it?
Yes, either row wise or a column wise, depending on what is the access given.
Okay.
Okay. So instead of writing access is equal to columns, if I want to do a column wise only, if I want to write access is equal to column, what can I write? We just discuss in a recap.
0, x is equal 0.
Access
Yeah,
equal
one,
1.
right? Column was 1. Above was the 1, right?
1.
So you can also write a access is equal to 1. Right? So I will write it as a columns. Okay. If I want to specify access over here, what can I specify? I can write access is equal to 0, right? Because it is a row wise over here. Access is a row. So if I don't specify the default, okay, I specified in the print, the bracket went wrong. So you can specify the access 0, it will do the same thing. If you don't specify the access, by default anyhow, it is going to take 0, right? But if you specify 0, it is going to take 0, or if you can just ignore it because at the default anyhow access is 0. Okay, let's go over here. So let's look into this thing. What this particular code is doing is it is converting the numeric number into the words, right? That is convert single 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 0 to 0, 65 to 65, and so on. This is the purpose of the entire code. So basically this particular code is converting numbers into the whatever words, ONE instead of single one, right? So let us run this and try to understand the code. So first of all, we just created a data frame. This you already know. We have been doing it so many times. It creates a data frame. First, it creates a range from 0 until 9, that is 0 to 8. Then it reshapes it to 3 by 3. So you get 0 to 8 in 3 by 3 format. Then it gives the index as R1, R2, R3. And finally, it gives the column name as ABC. So this we have done it so many times. So let us understand the code that actually converts this 0 to ZERO, 1 to ONE, 2 to TWO, 3 to and 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8, whatever, to their respective words. So let's understand this, how it works. So can you tell me what is this kind of a data structure? What is this data structure?
Dictionary.
Dictionary. This data structure is dictionary. Okay, 1 ONE. So there is a key, numeric 1 on the left hand side. There is a key, and there is a value on the other side. Key and value. Okay. Let's try to understand this particular function. So what is the name of this function? What is the name of this
N2W.
function? N2W. What is the input parameter for this? It is the input parameter is n, right? Whatever it is. So this is the input parameter is n. So you will be getting, assuming that you will be getting a single number at a given time. You will get 1 or 2 or 3 as a numeric number at a given time, and this number to word function should basically convert into its word. So what it does is it try and accept. So what was this try and accept for, anyone? What was this try and accept for?
Exception handling.
Exception handling, right? So how does it work? How does this try accept work?
First, it will go to the try block. So if that particular key is not found, then it will generate a key error.
Okay, so it will try to execute this piece of code.
Right.
If this piece of code works fine, it's totally fine. It will not go and accept. But for any reason, this piece of a code, if this piece of a code fails, then it is going to execute this accept part, right? So how does a try accept work? It tries to execute a piece of a code written inside a try block. If the code inside a try block fails, then it goes and executes the code inside a accept block. Perfect. So what was this num2 words?
Dictionary.
This was a dictionary, right? And this n is some number, right? So what will be the first number over here?
0.0.
0, right? So it will go as a 0 over here. Can I find this 0 ZERO over here?
Yes.
So it is going to return this 0. It is not going to go inside the except block. For 1, can it find 1 over here?
Yes.
So it is again not going to go into an except block. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is still not going to go into an except block. Okay. When will it go into an except block? Can anyone tell me? When will it go into an except block?
0 or 0 is there.
0
21.
is there.
21.
21, right? 2-digit number, right? Okay, so we have written instead of giving a NP range, I have specified the number over here manually, and let's try to execute it. List has no attribute reshape. List don't have attribute reshape. Okay, so we have defined a data frame now. 1, 5, 9. For 1, 5, and 9, will it go into an except block or it will not go into an except block?
It will not go.
For 1, will it go? No. Why it will not go?
Because 1 is present in the dictionary.
1 is present in the dictionary. Perfect. 5 and 9 is also present in a dictionary. 5 is also present in this dictionary, so it will not go into an except block. 9 is also present in a dictionary, so it will not go into an except block. Perfect. For the remaining 6, will it go? Okay, what will happen for a 12? When it tries to do this 12 over here, what will happen? Will it go in dictionary or not?
Yeah, it will go in dictionary.
I mean, will it go in except or not?
No.
It will not go except. Why?
Because 12 is already present.
12
in the
is also
dictionary.
there. Okay, how about 21?
Yes, it will go into the except block.
So 21 is not over here, right? You cannot see a 21 over here. So when it tries to refer this 21, it will fail and it will go into an error. So now it will try to do this thing. So what is this doing? Anyone can explain?
Yeah, so first it will searching for a n minus n percentage 10 kind of key in the dictionary, like whatever
So
comes
what
from
will be the value for this 21 minus 21 modulus 10?
21 minus 2 1, I guess. So it will be
21 modulus 10 will be what answer?
21 10 to 21. It will come 1.
1.
The
Right?
remainder, yeah.
So n modulus 10 is giving me a remainder. So 21 divided by 10, the remainder is 1, right?
Yeah.
And how about what was the value in n?
21.
21, right? So it will be 21 minus 1, right? So just
Yeah.
simplify it. So what will be 21 minus 1?
20.
20, perfect. So what will be this?
It will be 1. Like
21 modulus 10 will be 1, right? So what will this do? Num2 words 20. So what will be the answer for num2 words 20?
it's 20.
This will be this 20,
Yeah.
right? So it will give you this 20. What will be the output for this one?
1.
ONE. And what we are doing over here?
Converting it to lowercase.
Lower. So this O was a capital, right? So 20 plus 1 will become a 21. Can you see this? 21. Perfect. Okay. Can anyone else explain about the other number? Who has, for whom it is not clear? Can anyone else volunteer to explain about 23? How does it 23 work? How will 23 work? Can anyone explain?
Yeah, same way, because 20 minus modulus of
So what will happen to this? Will it success or fail for 23?
fail. It will be a fail.
Fail, right? So it will go
Yeah,
into an
correct.
Excel. So what will be this n value?
23
23. And what will be the
minus
value for 23 modulus 10?
3.
3.
Only 3. Yeah.
Only 3. So 23 minus 3
Will be 20.
will be 20. Okay, perfect. And what will be over here?
3.
23 modulus 10?
3.
3, right? It will be 3. So what will be the output for num towards 20?
20.
20. So it will come as a 20
T
that you
capital.
can see over here. And what will be the word for num towards 3?
3. So cap
So we
3.
will take 3. T is capital, so it is making it lowercase. So 20 and 3, 23, right? Perfect.
So one
So-
question. So in case, let's say 3 is also not there, in the dictionary. So this program will fail, right? Or
Yeah,
what
of
will
course
happen?
it will fail, and if any of this will fail, then it will go over here, right? So if you make any other thing like 100, 100 should fail. So number out of range, right? Because 100 it failed over here. So it is only for 2-digit number.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So one question also, this n will be like automatically, meaning the function will be used automatically. This n, it will, meaning this apply map will say that n should be from this particular matrix
Correct.
and should be searched in the dictionary.
Right. So that's a good question, right? So what does this apply do? Apply returns either the entire row, like 0, 3, this one, this way, this way, this way, or this way, this way, this way, depending on what is the access given, right? We just saw the explanation for apply. So apply returns the entire column or the entire row, depending on what is set in access. Apply map executes on each and every element in the data frame. So when you execute this apply map, okay, over here it was just an apply. So apply is for entire row or entire column. However, this apply map is for each and every element. So first it will run on 1, then it will run on 5, then it will run on 9, 12, 21, 23, and so on.
Okay, so if we run this method via apply, the output will be same, no?
Apply will fail, right? How will apply? Apply will completely fail. Apply is going to run on, if you don't specify anything, right? It is going to give you 1, 12, and 52 together inside n. This n will be a list. Apply will fail, right? Let me show you apply, or let me comment this and write apply. So apply, what apply will do is, it will pass the entire list. Let me print type of n. So, oh, I did not. If it was apply map, it was passing as an integer. Let me remove apply map, only apply. So apply, you will see that it is passing as a series. It is passing as a series. So it will fail, right? How can you, it is passing the entire this thing 1, 12, and 15 at a single go as a series. So it will fail. Is it clear?
Yeah, so basically apply will apply at the row or the column level.
Yeah, apply is on the row or the column level.
Okay, got it.
It will pass the entire row or the column at the single go.
And apply map is by each, the index.
Apply
index
map
and
is for
column
each and every element one by one.
element.
It's like a map.
But tell you one thing, how do we know? See, if it was not a dictionary, then how you could have changed the number to word? Any other way?
Any other way without using dictionary?
Yeah, correct. How do we know like these are the possibilities in Pandas or?
Oh, there is no need to. Once you have a use case, always go for Google.
Yeah, correct. That's
number to words, right? In Python. So should be a lot of different ways. Number to word, number to word, number to word. This is again using a dictionary. A very similar approach, but he has used some. He has used a different code. 1 to 19, then directly refer. 20 to 99, then something else. So, but he has also used a dictionary. He has also used a dictionary. You will have to keep the mapping somewhere. Oh, this one is something different. He has used a package, this inflect. So he has installed this package pip inflect, and you can apply this particular function to each and every element. So this is going to give you the word. So you can use this particular package, but internally it may be also using dictionary. This is again a dictionary, but he has used in a. This is more exhaustive. He has handled till million, trillion, and everything. We only did till 2 digits. He had done till multiple digits, right? So you can read it how he has done it. So it is working, right? So this one is a good thing. You should up. Okay. Later on, maybe I just do a upvote. Yes, at least put in good efforts, and it's a good thing. So yeah, mostly it's a dictionary solution only over here as well, unless a package, but package may internally be using a dictionary as well. So this one is also using a, no, he's not using a dictionary, right? He's using an array or a list. What is he doing? So you can refer this code also how he is doing. But yeah, let's keep out of discussion. Okay, so I just write can read more on number to words from below. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, let's see this one. So can anyone explain me what is this doing over here? Can anyone explain what is this doing?
Just defining data frame.
Just defining a data frame 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? What is the index of it?
R1, R3, and R2.
R1, R3, and R2. It is not in a proper sequence, R1, R3, and R2, instead of R1, R2, R3. And what is the column list?
ACB.
ACB, right? ACB. Okay, perfect. Can anyone explain what will this do? df6.sort index.
Sorting the index. The
Index is this one.
R1,
This is the index, right? Index or rows.
R1, R2,
So
R3.
it makes it as a R1, R2, and R3 instead of R1, R3, and R2. Also, the entire internal data will also be rearranged, right? It was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now it is 0, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and 3, 4, 5, right? Because R2 and R3 rows are going up and down, right? Is it clear? Anyone having any doubts in sort index? So just remember that these two rows also changes because R2 and R3 is changed. Perfect. Sort index access1. What will this access1 do?
Sort by columns.
Sort by column, right? So this, when it is referred just as axis or axis 0, right? If I say axis 1, that means it is going to sort by the columns, right? Over here it is written sort the columns. So it will be the columns where ACB, the columns become ABC. Also, you can see over here, it becomes 0, 2, 1, 3, 5, 4, 6, 8, 7, right? Previously it was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it became 0 to 1 because these two contents will also go here and there. Perfect. And can anyone explain what is this doing? Can anyone explain
Meaning
what
it will be in descending order of column.
in the descending order of the column C, B, and A, right? C, B, and A. So it's a descending order of a column. And you can see over here 1, 2, 0, whatever it's arranged as per the descending, as per C first, then B and A. So when you say axis 1, it means that you are talking about columns. And when you say ascending is equal to false, meaning you are saying about descending. So column meaning you are arranging this, descending meaning you want to do it as a C, B, and A, right? Sort columns, descending order, it's written over here. Any questions over here? Okay, if no questions, let's go ahead and you can tell me what this will be doing. Okay, so this is my original data frame. This is my original data frame. You're doing a sort values by B. So what does this mean, B by B? Sort values by B, meaning what?
By column B.
So it want to sort on the basis of this particular column B, right? As good as if you know right, if you know SQL, it's select star from table, order by B, right? In ascending is any our default. So it's select star from a table, order by B if you know SQL. If no, then it's fine. So basically, the contents of a B, first ascending is a false, right? So in it's select star from table. My bad, I just overlooked. Order by B in a descending. So you can see that it's arranged in a descending order. 258 became 852, right? Okay, can anyone explain what will the next one do? Can anyone explain again what will this next one do?
Yeah, so it will order by first B, then A.
Order by B, then it will order by A. Okay, so if there is a duplicate value for B, then only the order by A makes a sense, right? And what will be the equivalent query in SQL?
Order by B, comma A, descending.
Okay, select star from table, order by B, descending, A, descending, right? So again, since the B value is all distinct, the order by A doesn't make any meaning. If you write or don't write, you will get the same output. Order by A will only come into picture if there is a duplicate value for B, but B doesn't have any duplicate value. So order by this A doesn't make any meaning writing over here. Anyone, any questions? Okay, anyone over here who has no knowledge about SQL? Who don't have any knowledge about SQL? Anyone?
Yeah, I don't have much actually. Very
Uh,
little.
Writing a select query or that also don't have it?
I mean, very little. I mean,
Very
yeah, I
little.
mean, only select from all, something like that.
Okay, okay,
Not much.
okay. So if you don't have good knowledge about SQL, right, or at least a basic knowledge about SQL, not say a good knowledge. If you don't have a basic knowledge about SQL, just do at least a basic SQL from somewhere, because you may need it while you're working on the actual project. You may need to connect to a SQL database and do. So
Okay.
what you can do is you can go to W3 schools SQL and just read through it, everything. Read through entire W3 schools. And I think so they also have like exercise part, select. You just write select and execute, right? And submit answer, and it's correct. Right. Try to do this, whatever is the exercise, right? Test your knowledge, start the quiz, and try to do this. And if you are not in touch as well, then also try to do the SQL. After understanding Pandas, you won't find it much difficult because everything is covered in Pandas as well. But in a different syntax, just that SQL will have a different syntax, but you still need to know SQL because sometimes you will have to directly run some queries and see some data very quickly. Okay, let us see the next one. So rank function we had also seen for a series when we were doing series, right? So can anyone explain what is this doing? This is my original data frame. Can anyone explain what will this do? What will this do? Can anyone explain?
It will rank by the rows first, right?
Rank by the rows, right? Okay, perfect. So will it be in the ascending order or descending order?
No, it was first, right? The default meaning it will be in ascending order,
Meaning the small number will get a rank
lower rank.
1. So this 0 gets the rank 1, 3 gets the rank 2, and 6 gets the rank 3. Again, this 1 gets the rank 2, and so on and so forth, right? So the smallest number get the rank 1, and first we are specifying on the axis as rows. And in the next example below, over here, when we do this one, it's on the column basis. So 0, 1, and 2 gets the rank 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, and 5 gets the rank 1, 2, 3. 6, 7, 8 gets the rank 1, 2, 3. So it just assigns a rank from 1, 2, 3, and so on. And the smallest number gets the rank 1, and biggest number gets the higher rank, right? We also saw this in series. Most of the time you won't use series, but I still covered because anyhow you cover the same function one time, the second time it is very easy to explain. And over there it was in fact explaining more easier because it was just a single dimension. So let's look into this. Can anyone explain what are we doing over here?
So again, a matrix of 3 by 3 from 0 to 8, and row R1, R2, R2. Oh, row index is duplicate actually, one of the rows.
R1, R2, R2, and column is ACB. So this is the number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I say reshape as 3 by 3, so this 3, 4, 5 comes over here. 3 by 3, right? 6, 7, 8 comes over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as shown
So
over
one
here.
question, so if we want to start this arrange, we can start from 1 also, or it will be always from 0 only?
Yes,
And
so we can start it. It does gives you the starting point.
Okay.
You can specify a range starting from some other number as well. And yeah. And what will this do? Next one.
So it will check if index is unique.
Index is unique. So it gets false. Why? Why it gets
But
false?
index is not unique because index is not
Which one
unique.
is not unique?
To second, third, or 0.
R2 is not unique, right? R2 is 2 times, right? R2 is 2 times because you specified R2 over here. So you say that it's not a unique. Then if I want to see only the contents of R2, if I want to see the content, what will this do? What will this do?
So because we have used log, it will be, I mean, of course, this will be like by index, the value stored in R2 index.
It is going to give you everything that is stored in R2. So these were the contents stored in R2, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So LOC is used to refer to the index on the basis of the index name that we have specified. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead. This piece of a code we have seen while we were studying Python, as well as when we were studying NumPy. So I'm having some data that is present in my Google Drive. That is this data, and I'm first copying it into my local storage before I try to use it. So if I see my Google Drive, I want to see my Google Drive. So I just open my Google Drive, click on my drives, click on notebook data, Pandas. So I'm having this data inside my drive, notebook data, Pandas, and NYC Jan 2016 weather.xlsx. So this is the weather data, and it is, I mean, you can get the latest data also, you can get a big data as well for the entire year as well, but I've used only for this particular month, so that when we are just studying, it's easier to interpret with a small data. If you want to get complete data, you can always go and Google New York City weather data CSV download. So weather Kaggle, you can get Kaggle 2016 data. So it's there in a Kaggle, and this is your data, right? This is the data. It's for the entire 2016, right? Entire 2016. You can just click over here and download it, right? Just click over here, and you may need, it may ask you to sign in first. Or here is a download icon, download. So it will ask you to sign in, and once you sign in, you can download it from the Kaggle. So there will be other source as well. It's there in New York City weather data. So it's over here as well. Oh, it said that it's over here, and so many places. So just try, and you can get the more data. You can use it, right? So you can download from multiple places. You can just Google one of the simple places, the Kaggle. So this is my data that I have, and what we are doing is we are copying this. First we are mounting this Google Drive using these two instructions, and then we are doing a copy it from this particular location in a Google Drive, full stop, meaning into the current working directory. So if I want to see, it's responding pretty slow. Okay, now it is over here. So what it is going to do is it is going to copy the data into this particular directory called as a content directory. So by default, also our system is pointing to this particular content directory. And they have also given some, Google also gives some of the data for you to play in a sample data directory inside a content. So just forget about this. What we are going to do is we are going to copy our data from the Google Drive into the content, right? So let's execute this. I'm going to say to click on this particular URL, click on that URL, log in with your account, click on sign in, click on copy, click on paste, and it is going to copy for you in this particular content directory. right click and refresh, and you can see that this is your particular data that you have copied from over here, right? And from here, you can also navigate to your entire Google Drive. You can also navigate the data entire, because entire Google Drive is mounted over here. So the entire Google Drive is also mounted over here. And just copy the data from here. So for our simplicity, I've just copied the data from Drive, My Drive, notebook data, Pandas, and New York City, right? This is the path I have given. This is the path I have given. Drive, My Drive, whatever, right? In this CSV. And I have just copied it over here. So I will be working on this. Okay, perfect. So this is my data, and we are going to work on this. So can anyone explain what will this do? Can anyone explain what will this particular cell do?
It will read that CSV file.
It will read the CSV file that is present in this particular location, and
format it into data frame. Yeah.
And we are finally displaying the contents of a data frame over here. Okay, let's say you are working on a Jupyter notebook. What will change? What is the change you will do? Let's say you are working on a Jupyter notebook, then what will you do?
You can manually copy the data.
So what I can do is, if I'm working on a Jupyter notebook, first of all, no need to execute this particular cell. You can just remove it or comment it out. And wherever is this data in your machine, you have kept in whatever drive, C drive, some particular folder, give the entire path of that particular folder over here, right? So if you're running in this in a Jupyter notebook, or you're running in your own machine, no need to execute this particular thing. And wherever you have kept that particular CSV file in your local machine, in your own laptop, just give that particular path over here. Okay. Let's execute. So this is the data that I have read. This is the date. This is the temperature on that day, a dew point, humidity, sea level, pressure, and whatever, and so on and so forth. What is this NaN?
Not a number.
Not a number or a null value, right? So you don't have a data for this particular case. Okay, perfect. Anyone can say what will this df.d types do?
Data type of all the like columns.
All the columns, right? Whatever we have read. What is the data type of each and every columns? So it is saying it's an object, it's a integer, it's a float, or whatever. Right? So df.d types. You have to remember, whenever you are doing this EDA, first thing you will always do is, what is the data type that you have? Okay, pd.isNullDF. So what this particular instruction is going to do is, it's going to check where is the null values. Where is the null values? So you can see that event has a lot of null values. Event is having a lot of null values. Wind speed is also having some null values, and so on. So this pd.isNull pandas, pd is for pandas, .isNull is a function passing a data frame as a parameter, shows you where is the null values. Okay,
And this will be only for the numeric values, right? I mean, not for
everything,
the string or
everything. Even for the events, right? So if it is a null value, it is going to show you true. Events is a alphanumeric value, right? This one, fog and snow. Fog, snow.
So meaning null value here means it's like a space, or it's like no value?
No value. Like let's say, if you want to open this particular CSV file, when this is open, I mean, this is a null value. You have not typed anything in this particular row itself. Or else what you can do is, you can open it with a notepad. Open with a Let me download and open with the notepad. Okay, let me share the another screen. So can you see a CSV file over here? NYC Jan 16 weather.csv.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's say this
Here there's
event
no value.
was a null value over here, right? So you can see over here, there is nothing. Just a previous comma and the next comma back to back. There is no space, nothing. So this is a null. This is the null. There is nothing basically. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So there's a CSV file. This is my column names. These are the values, each and every value, this date and this temperature and this dew point, everything is separated by a commas in between. And if there is a null value between that, there will be directly another comma. Let's go back to the Edge browser. So these are the null values that are even present over here, and it detects as a true if there is a null value. Okay, let's go ahead, and can anyone say what will this give? Print df temperature max.
Maximum of column temperature.
Maximum of all the temperature, right? So what is the maximum of all the temperature? So where is the temperature column? This is the temperature column, right? I can see the maximum as 50 till now. Yeah, maximum temperature is 50, and what is the minimum temperature? I can see so far as 26 or 25 or 22. 22 is the minimum temperature. So 50 and 22 probably.
20. 20.
20 also is there, is it? Okay, perfect. So maximum is 50 and minimum is 20, right? So it gives you the maximum and minimum. So how did you specify basically the syntax? DF is the data frame, followed by directly in the bracket is the column name on which you want to operate, and you want to find the maximum out of it. DF followed by the temperature, that is a column name, and minimum out of it. So the moment you say this, it is going to return you a series. And basically you are running this maximum function on a series, right? If you don't see, then what you can do is you can just execute this, right? So many people actually don't cover the series itself. So it's a okay. So df dot temperature. Let's write type of it. Type of df dot df temperature. So it's a series, right? So when you say a data frame, it is giving you the entire data frame. When you say a temperature, it is giving you a series. And this max function is actually being run on that particular series, right? So you are getting a maximum temperature out of it. So if you see many of the times of most of the data science sessions, right, they don't even cover series in Pandas. But that is a base out of it. If you don't understand series, then data frame you only understand high level. You won't enjoy working on it. So this is about maximum and minimum. It rained on. Can anyone explain me what we are trying to do over here? Or can anyone explain or decode this code? Can you decode it? What is this line doing? What we want over here? How to decode it?
What was the time when it rained?
What was the date when it rained? Yes.
Date.
But how are you understanding that? How are you decoding it? What will be first evaluated?
Events equal to rain. Like any
Events
event
is
where
equal
it
to
was
rain,
rained.
right? So how it will execute? First of all, it will go from the most innermost brackets, right? Mainly it will execute this one. So what is this data frame? Data frame meaning everything, entire data frame. When I say data frame events, that means the events part, right? This was the event part. Rain, snow, and so on, right? So event. Then wherever it rained, okay. So it's saying that wherever it rained, it will keep true, right? True, wherever there was a rain. And for those corresponding trues, this particular data frame EST is going to show you the date, right? It's going to show you the date. So let us try to first print this and let's execute this. Print a DF. So print a DF. So this is my DF, right? Print DF. So if you see over here, right? So whenever I try to execute this piece of code, let me zoom in. It takes so much time to respond. Okay. Got a lot of scroll down. Okay, perfect. So this is my data frame, right? This is my data frame. This is my entire data frame. This is my event column. This is my EST column. This is my EST column. This is my event column. Then when I say DF event is equal to rain, so wherever there is a rain, it is going to mark as a true. Over here rain, so it is going to mark as a true. Over here it is a rain, it is going to mark as a true, right? So that's the part over. This is over. Then after that, it is going to get DF EST. So for whatever true, it is going to take the EST, this particular dates, this particular date, this particular date. That's why you can see that 9:10. You can see that 9:10. You can see this 16. You can see this 16. You can see this 27. You can see that's 27. So it says that it rained on these particular days. Is it clear? Any questions, anyone? Is it clear? Anyone having any questions?
So let's say if we have to extract one more field, let's say example, the second after date, whichever that column is there, then how would we extract? Meaning apart from
I
EST.
mean, apart from the date, you also want some more column, is it?
Yeah, correct.
Just give a comma in that particular.
Or DF EST
DF,
comma.
right?
Okay.
So what all you want? EST comma. Let's say events.
Suppose temperature or whatever it was. Yeah.
So this one, right?
Yeah, correct.
So just specify whatever columns you want as a list. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead. And can anyone explain what is this doing? Or how will this work? What will this give you? What will be the
Meaning
output of
wherever
this one?
events is null,
Event is null.
the date.
This is the null, right?
The date. Yeah.
So all this will be true. All this will be true. This will be true. And this will be true. And this will be true, right? This is what it gives as a true. And DF EST. DF of EST. So DF of EST meaning it will give you all these dates corresponding to this one, right? Corresponding to this one and this one, right? All these dates will be written to you. Anyone having any questions in this? So it says that no event on these particular dates. Any questions, anyone? So I just remove this print df for now. Looks, it takes a lot of space. Anyone having any questions? Let me zoom in again to 100%. Okay, perfect. Any questions, anyone? Okay, no questions. Then let's go ahead. Fill NA in place true. So can anyone explain what will this fill NA do?
Fill nulls with 0.
So wherever you find a nulls or NaN in the entire data frame, it is going to replace it with zeros, right? You can see this events. All this was NaN. It has just replaced it with zeros, right? So it is just filling the NA values, null values, not a number values, with zeros. What does this in place true means? What does this in place equal to true means? Any guesses? In place equal to true, what does it mean? Okay, so what this in place equal to true means is, let's say you are having this particular data frame. Let's say this is a data frame. Column 1, column 2, and maybe column 3. Row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this was having some value 1, 2, 3, NaN, 3, 4, NaN, NaN, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, 12, 13, 14, right? So what this fill NA equal to 0 will do is, fill NA equal to 0. Oh my God, I just closed this by mistake. So what this fill NA is equal to 0 is going to do is, it's going to replace whatever NaN you get, NaN 1, 2, 3, 4, NaN 5, 6, 7, 8, NaN, NaN. So what this fill NA is equal to 0 is going to do is, it's going to replace this NaN with 0, replace with 0, replace with 0, replace with 0, right? It's going to replace all these things with 0. So it's going to replace all these things with 0. In place equal to true meaning, it is going to change the content of the data frame itself. It is going to change the content of the data frame itself. If I don't specify, in place equal to true, then the content of df will not be changed. The content of a df will not be changed. Okay. So if I specify in place equal to true, that means the content of a df will be changed. If I don't specify in place equal to true, the content of a data frame won't be changed, right? Let me show with an example. So let me define a particular data frame very quickly. What went wrong? Invalid syntax. The first, the second, the third, and this one, right? Pandas dot data frame. This bracket is extra. Okay, perfect. So I have defined the data frame. And So whatever things you don't understand, just try to execute and see, right? Like I do with a false and with a true. So can you explain me what is this doing? And when I do this way false, it did not change the content. But when I do this way true, it changed the content in DF8. Why?
Because the parameter says in place equal to true.
In place equal to true, right? But if I want to change in DF8 with in place equal to false, then what shall I do? If I still want to change DF8, but I don't want to change, I still want to keep this in place equal to false, then how shall I do?
Then you define a new data frame or replace the existing one like df8 equals to df8.
So you are saying to define a new data frame, right? But in practical, you won't define a new data frame. You will put into the same data frame. Else your RAM will get full, right?
Yeah.
So df8.fill na 0 in place df8 is overwritten by this one, and you can see that df8 is overwritten. Okay, so if you want to keep in place equal to false, then in that case, just overwrite the content of the same data frame. If you want to do in place equal to true, you can also do it that way, right? So what I will do is, so I will say that in place equal to false won't change the content of df8. So you can write as df8 is equal to df8 dot fill in a 0 comma in place equal to false. So you can write like this: df8 is equal to df8 in place equal to false. Okay, any questions in this so far? Anyone?
So Harish, this data frame is always stored in memory, right?
Yes, in the memory, yes.
Okay, so in case the memory is full, like will it spill to like disk or it will like?
No, it will fail. The program will fail.
Okay.
It won't spill to disk. You will have to manually save it to a disk if you want. How to save manually? I think so. We have covered it down. Yes, we have covered it later on. How to save the data frame to a disk. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone? No questions. Let's go ahead. And can anyone say what will this do? Let's speed up. What will this do? df wind speed mph dot mean. What will a mean do? df wind speed mph dot mean. This way we will not be able to complete it fast. Can you give quick
It
answers?
will find out the mean or average of wind speed.
It's going to find the mean, right? Average of the wind speed. So if you're going to take the average of the wind speed 6.225, this particular column is the wind speed. Right? Where is the wind speed? This one, 8, 7, 8, 9, whatever. And if you take the average of this particular wind speed, it comes to this one. Okay, can anyone say what will this particular line do? What will this do? Can anyone explain?
It will double the humidity, meaning 2 will become 4.
So whatever was the humidity, it is going to double. Again, when you have referred to this particular TF is the name of a data frame, humidity is the name of a column, right? So either you can refer it as a data frame in bracket column, or you can also refer as a data frame dot column, right? Either you can write it this way, or you can also write it this way, right? Both will work. So df dot humidity into 2 is a df double humidity, right? So you are making a new column double humidity, right? df double humidity. So df.humidity into 2 will go into a new column, data frame double humidity. So again, how you can specify this humidity? You can specify it like this as well. df humidity. You can also do it this way. You can also specify a column this way, df dot humidity or df bracket humidity. So multiple ways of doing the same thing in Pandas, sometimes difficult, sometimes simple, and they try to follow the syntax of all the different possible ways so that people are happy to use this. Okay, can anyone explain what this does? df humidity is equal to 54. df humidity is
So
equal
it
to
will set
54.
54 for all the rows.
So for all the rows, right, humidity is 54. Can you see this? Everywhere you see 54, 54. Everywhere is 54. So changing the column humidity for everywhere to be 54. Okay, perfect. So instead of previously we had used a read CSV method. Above we had used a read CSV method wherein it has to be a comma separated. Instead of using a read CSV method, you can also use a read table. What you can use? Read table. So instead of using a read CSV, you can also use a read table. And what it does is you specify the name of that particular file which you want to read and specify a comma as a separator, because you know that the separator is a comma. You know over here that the separator is a comma, separator is a comma, separator is a comma. The separator is commas. So what you can do is either use a read CSV method or use a read table method and specify what is a separator. Okay. Can anyone who knows about a regular expression, what does it mean? If you know about a regular expression, what does it mean?
It will take like both semicolon as well as comma.
It will take either a semicolon or a colon. So if you are having a data that is a mixture of a semicolon or colon, or maybe this file always sometimes comes with a semicolon and sometimes comes with a colon as comma, right? Semicolon is like this, right? And sometimes like this. So it says that whether this file has a semicolon or a colon, it will still work, right? So you can, if you know about regex, so if you know about regex, you should be knowing, then it's okay. If you don't know about regex, if you don't know about a regex, you can again read some of the things from regex over here. I think so regex should also be there in W3 schools, right? W3 schools regex. So Python regex. So here also you can, it's a small only tutorial. So you can also read about this particular regex thing, what a regular expression does. So in short, what this regular expression does is, let's say I am having certain string, right? String x, y, z, semicolon, comma, some data, right? If I want to find the point where ng is present, if I want to find and replace x, y, z with abc, if I want to remove this semicolon and just replace with a null or without anything, just remove this semicolon. If I want to replace this comma with a full stop, right? All these things, if you want to do on a string, you are having a very powerful tool called as a regex or a regular expression. And in fact, it is present in every programming language, whatever you do, right? Most of the programming language all has a regex. Or maybe all the latest programming language has the regex. So you can use the regex this way to locate or replace or remove something, right? So you can use this particular library called as a import RE or regex. Again, I will suggest you to read regex as well if you don't know. If no, it is okay. And in the interest of time, we won't be covering regex. And so you can read it from here. Maybe later on, once the course is complete, I can maybe later on down the line someday I will just add SQL and regex in a bonus section. If you don't know SQL, you got regex, you can read from there. Regex is still not that important. Without regex also you can still survive by just googling and all, but SQL you should definitely study from W3 schools. There is no option to that. So over here what we did was we specified as a regular expression saying that either comma or semicolon, anything you accept it.
What screen you are sharing? Actually, on my side, I can only see that CSV.
Oh, my bad. Forgot to change it to my this one. Okay. So I was just saying that over here we have specified semicolon and comma, right? Specified as semicolon or comma. I was also saying that you should practice from W3 Schools regex, which is a very powerful package for any of the things like, let's say you are having some string XYZ, semicolon, comma, and something like this. You want to locate where is this ng present, or you want to replace this XYZ with ABC, or you want to remove the semicolon from here, or you want to replace this comma with a full stop. All these things can be done with a regex. It's a very powerful tool for a string manipulation, right? So it's a very powerful tool. It is present in most of the programming languages. Again, just put some time in reading to the regex. If you don't know about regex, W3 School is always a good source for everything you learn. And but more important thing is first go for a SQL, then go for a regex. Anyhow, as I get time later on, once with the course is completed, I can make a 1 or 2 videos on SQL or regex later on as a bonus section. But you can definitely go through W3 schools for SQL as well as regex. Okay, so let's go ahead. By default, Pandas displays 60 number of lines. If I print a data frame, if I show a data frame like this, by default, Pandas will show you 60 lines. It is going to show you how many lines? 60. 60 lines, it will be difficult for me to explain you because it will overlap into multiple pages. So I'm just changing this particular parameter to 5 so that it just shows you the 5 lines. So it is 2 lines over here, then dot, 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 and last 2 lines. So total 5 lines. So I want to see maximum pd dot option dot display maximum rows is equal to 5 so that it displays 5 lines. I read the CSV file and show you is the 5 lines. Okay. Over here in the next example, n rows 5. So what this will do is when I'm reading from a CSV file, it will read only the first 5 lines. What will it do? It will read only first 5 lines. Okay, so if I do n rows equal to 5, it is only going to read 5 lines from the CSV file. So can you see only the 5 lines are read from a CSV file? So if you specify n rows is equal to 5, it's going to read only the first 5 lines from the CSV file. So no use case of it, just that I have showed you this thing, how to read only the first 5 lines. Okay, going to a next piece of a code, I will just execute and later explain what is the use case of it. So I have executed this code. Can anyone explain what is this code doing? Looking into an input and output, can you explain what is this code doing, anyone? Can you look into this code and explain what is this doing? I mean, you are looking into a code and output, right? So it's not difficult.
Splitting the file data in the chunk size 5 and displaying all the chunks.
Okay, so it is what we are doing over here is we are reading as a chunk size of 5. So when I say chunk size of 5 and I am taking into a chunk, so reading from this chunk size of 5, and it is when I iterate through it, when I do a for loop for piece in a chunk. So this is my chunk for a piece into a chunk. Piece is again a data frame. So this is a 5 rows. This is a 5 rows. And this is a 5 rows. And I am reading a 5 by 5 rows at a time. Okay, what is the use of doing this? Why will I need to do like this? Reading as a chunk size of 5. Why I need this? What is the use of it?
Sampling.
Sampling, not really.
To not like load the heavy data frame into the memory.
Right, not to, I mean, let's say if your file is very, very big, right, and you cannot fit it. So what you can do is you can process it by chunk by chunk. Okay, part by part, you can process it by part if your RAM is not that big. But usually you won't need it. Okay, it will be very rare that you need it, right? And if there is a case for such kind of a data that your RAM is, I mean, your data is really, really big, then probably you will go into a Spark and you will do a distributed processing using either a PySpark or a Spark Scala. So you have a distributed processing with you, right? So now you can do a distributed processing. You don't have to do like this if your data is really big. So I mean, it's one of the solution how to handle a really very big data. You can read as a chunk file and do it, but always you have a distributed computing for your reference. Distributed computing. That is a Spark that you can always use, right? So you can also read in a chunk. Again, you will never use it, so don't worry much. Okay, so what we are doing is, can anyone explain what is this line doing? Can anyone explain what is this line doing?
Importing from that folder content drive.
Copying from this Google Drive that was mounted over here into the current directory, right? So if I go over here and see, I won't find an XLS file. There is only one CSV file, right? But if I execute this code, what this code is going to do is it is going to get the data from drive, my drive, notebook data, pandas, right? Drive, my drive, notebook data, pandas, genweather.xls. I think so this one. It is going to take the data from here, and it will take the data and it will copy it over here. So right click over here and refresh. So you can see that this Excel file is over here. You can just double click on it and you can do is you can just click on it, or if you double click it will download. It also shows on the right hand side. Why it is not showing? A single click should open an explorer on the right hand side to show the data, right? Maybe it is not able to show for an. Oh, CSV, if you double click, it is going to show on the right hand side. The data, if you double click on XLS file, it is going to download it. So you can also see the data on the right hand side by just doing a double click on it. Okay. Pages show how many copies. Okay, perfect. So we are just copying over here. Can you tell me what is this doing? This line, what is this line doing? Anyone?
setting output rows to 30, like 30 rows will display.
30 rows will display. So I'm reading from an Excel. Read Excel is another method using which you can read from an Excel. And pd.option.display.max rows is equal to 30. So it was 60 is showing me because probably the January is having 31 days. So just make something a little bit bigger. 30 will still not show. Make it 31. So 31 is going to show you again one shot because of the header as well. 32. No, 30. 31 itself will show you. 30 doesn't help you. Yeah, keep it 31 because January has 31 days. Okay, so you can also read from an Excel file, and this is the method. Read Excel, and you have read it from an Excel file over here. Okay, so let's take a short break. The time is 11:08. Let's take a break of 7 minutes, and let's resume at 11:15. If you are in a different time zone, just come in 7 minutes from the current time. Okay, let's go here and just try to create a data frame from combination of dictionary and tuple. So this is the name of a columns: day, temperature, wind speed, and events. And for a day, these are the different data. Temperature, this is a different data. Wind speed, this is a different data. And events, this is a different data. And to convert this particular dictionary weather data into a data frame, you can say that pd.dataframe weather data as a df tuple, and you can just display df tuple over here. Similarly, you can have the complete dictionary, wherein it's more like a JSON message as well. If you have a JSON message, JSON data, you can also use it same way. And weather data, again, day is this one, temperature is this one, wind speed is this one, event is this one, and so on. And when you want to create a data frame, it's pd.dataframe. Data is weather data, and column I'm giving the same name as day, temperature, wind speed, and event. Day, temperature, wind speed, and event. You can also change the name as a D capital, E capital, W capital, and E capital, right? If you want to. So wind speed event. Why is it not allowing it to change? Okay, later on we see on this. So this is again optional. Even if I don't specify this particular piece of code, it should still work because the column name is the same. The column name is the same, so it will still work. Ideally, if I do this D capital, it should still allow, but somehow it is saying that it is not able to find that particular column, but we see it later on. In this particular example over here, we are just rearranging in a different sequence, temperature, wind speed, event, and day. So our data frame is the same, just that the sequence is different: temperature, wind speed, event, and day, instead of day, temperature, wind speed, and event. you are arranging in a different format. df underscore dictionary dot shape is going to give you the number of rows and columns that you have, 8 by 4. So you are having 8 rows from 0 to 7 and 4 columns, temperature, wind speed, event and day. So this shape function is giving you 8 cross 4. Header df dictionary dot head is going to give you the first 5 lines out of it. So if you're having a data frame and you just want to have a little bit gist of a data, how the data looks like, instead of printing an entire data frame, which will end up showing you up to 60 rows, you can always do head and it will show you the 5 lines. If you want to specify different number of lines, you can also specify that I want to see only the first 3 rows over here. So you can specify a data frame dot head 3. Tail is going to give you the last 5 lines, df dot tail 5. So it is going to give you the last 5 lines from the bottom of it. df dot dictionary 2 until 5 is going to give you from index 2 until 5. So it will not have a 5, it will have 2, 3 and 4. No need to explain this. I mean, this all things are covered in arrays as well before in the list as well. So it is going to give you from 2 until 5. So it will not include 5, it will have 2, 3 and 4. df dictionary dot columns is obviously going to give you the name of the columns that you have. df dictionary dot index is going to give you the index of it. So index was starting from 0 and going until 8, 0 to 7, right? 0 until 8 at a step of 1. So it was 0, then 1, then 2, then step was 1. So dot index is going to give you this. Event in a df dictionary dot columns. So it's basically going to see that in the column list, do you have any column with the name event? So you can see that you have a column with the name event. So it says that the event column is present over here. 3 in a df dictionary dot index, that is over here. All these are index. So it is going to check whether this 3 is present in this index or not. So you can see that the index, the 3 is present over here. In the df dictionary dot index, you had a 3, right? It was 0 to 8. Just like columns, this event was present in this column. Okay. df dictionary 2 until 4. So it is going to display from second until 4th, right? 2 until 4. Anyhow, we have already discussed 2 until 5. I've written it again 2 until 4 over here. So it's a duplicate. I just remove it from here. df dictionary day. So anyone can explain what will this do? df dictionary day, what will this do?
Show
Display the day column.
Yeah.
It will display the day column, right? It's going to give the series, right? Okay, what is this going to do? df dictionary dot day.
It will do the same thing.
Same as above, but this kind of a syntax may not work on the previous versions of Pandas. So just avoid using this syntax. I mean, newer version does support, older version doesn't support this df dictionary dot day. So use this format always, because old codes will be written like that and follow some same thing. A df dictionary day and event. What will this do? Anyone?
So if you pick two columns, day and event.
So it is going to show you the 2 columns, day and event over here from a df dictionary. Okay, what is this going to do?
Maximum of temperature for all, I mean, for the
Maximum
entire
for
data.
temperature. So in a df dictionary, this particular column, what is the maximum temperature? Okay, what is this going to do?
Only print if temperature is greater than equal to 28.
So if the temperature is greater than equal to 28, this part of a code is going to return you the true, true, false, false, false kind of a thing, right? Always try to execute the small piece of a code for understanding. So if I just execute greater than equal to 28, only this piece of a code, it's going to replace me something like true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. Wherever it is greater than 28, it is going to return me the true, right? wherever it is greater than 28, like this and like this, and whatever, wherever it is greater than 28, it is going to return me the true. And once it returns me the true, wherever it is greater than equal to 28, now I want to show the entire dictionary. I want to show the entire dictionary. So it is going to show you the entire dictionary. Okay, perfect. Can you explain me what is this piece of a code going to do?
It will check if the temperature is max, then it will take it.
So how many rows will be the output over here?
Only one,
Why only one?
because it will check like if the row matches the maximum temperature, then it will display that.
So can 2 days don't have a maximum temperature?
Yeah, they can have same.
They can have same, right? So not necessary only one. It is going to display you wherever there is a maximum temperature, right? So first thing, this what will this do is it is going to return you the maximum temperature as 35, right? This got you 35. Then it is going to make true and false wherever there was 35, and this thing is going to display over here the maximum temperature, right? Anyone who is familiar with the SQL, can you give me the SQL syntax for this? If I want to get the maximum temperature rows, what will be the SQL query for this?
Select max.
No, it's not max, select star. You're displaying all the columns, right? Why you want to select max?
Okay, yeah. Select star from like
Yeah.
the table name.
Mhm.
Where this column.
Where this particular column, right?
Yeah.
Temperature
Equals to
equal to
max of temperature.
max of temperature, right?
Yeah.
So this is a corresponding SQL query, right? So if you're coming from a SQL background, you may find it little bit difficult to digest pandas. I mean, because you have been doing this for the years. But if you're directly coming from a from an Excel background, Excel also has a similar syntaxes. So you may find it simple over there maybe. So just to make your life easier, like you have a pandas, you also have some package called as a pandas SQL. So what this particular package does is pandas SQL package does is you can, instead of writing this particular syntax, you can also write this particular syntax, right? So you also have something called as a pandas SQL. You can later on explore it. We are not going to cover it. Neither it is widely used in industry as well. So you have to understand pandas, that's for sure. But they came up across with another package which is called as a pandas SQL. Pandas SQL. Pandas SQL. Can you use SQL in pandas? How to use SQL in pandas? So dot query. Can use dot query. Oh, this package. Pip install pandas SQL. From pandas SQL, import SQL DF. And then you can write a queries like this. You write a queries like this and just execute like this. So you can, such small, so small article was accepted. So towards data science, you can read how to use a pandas SQL. It's a very small article. So saying that, you can also go over here and read about pandas SQL if you want. Okay, can anyone explain what is this doing? Can anyone explain what is this query doing?
Displaying the day where temperature is maximum.
Display only the day column where the temperature is maximum, right? So it's the same as above. Just that you see over here day as extra. So it is going to display day. So you can see that one and only this particular day is the over here. Okay, perfect. Can anyone explain me what is this going to do? Back to your mathematics. One day you had studied mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, how to find all these things. You can just find it in a Python using these methods, mean, median, mode. Again, this is my whole data frame. Mean is nothing but an average of it. Median is nothing but a middle value of it. Mean is nothing but the middle value of it. Mode is nothing but the most repeated value. What is the most repeated value over here? What is the most repeated value for the temperature? What is the most repeated value in temperature?
35.
35.
35, right? 35 is 2 times, right? You can see over here, 35 came. Variance, whatever was the formula, right? And the standard deviation is a square root of variance. So you can find a variance and standard deviation over here.
But why this 0 is there in the mean and in the mode, answer for mode?
It's just returning an index out of it. 0 is probably it's the only single number, so it's just giving as an index 0 and 35. What is the data type it's repeated? Let's see what is the data types it returns. Print of this. So it is returning you the series. It is returning you the series. The mode returns you the series. So 0 is the index and 35 is the value. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So describe. So describe gives the various statistics for all the columns that are present, all the numeric columns that are present. So over here, there were two numeric columns, temperature and wind speed. Yeah, just give me a second. This Bixby I muted. Yeah. So df underscore dictionary describe is giving all the statistics, count, mean, standard deviation. So temperature, there are obviously 8 rows. I mean, it will give you other than the null. So you are having 8 values for the temperature. Wind speed is also 8. Mean you already know is the average out of it. Standard deviation you already know, we had studied the statistics part of it. Mean is the minimum value over here. So in the temperature, the minimum value was 21. Maximum value was 35. And it gives you the percentile, right? It gives you a quantile or a percentile. So what do you mean by a quantile or a percentile is, let's say I'm talking about this particular temperature. The minimum of this temperature is what? What is the minimum for our temperature? Minimum temperature, what is minimum?
21.
21.
21. Tell fast, simple questions. What is the maximum?
35.
35, right? And something like this later on we'll go to see a chart as well, bar plot. We are going to see it later on. So the first quantile is over here that says that 25% of the values. Second quantile is gives you the 50% of the values. The third quantile gives you the 75% of the values. And over here between the 25% of the values, it's saying that at 23.5. So this is nothing but 23.5. 50% is saying that 28.5. 28.5 is over here. 75% is 32.75. Okay, how did I get the values is, if I am having this, how many rows are there? 8 rows. Okay, there are total 8 rows. So if I want to divide this 8 rows into 4 quantile or 4 equal parts, so it will be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, right? So the two records that lies over here is between 21 and 23.5. That is 21 and 22, right? The after 23.5, there is a 24 and 28. So more two records fall over here, 24 and 28. So over here, there was 21 and 22 in the first quantile. The second quantile was 24 and 28 in the second quantile. The third quantile is between 28.5 and 32.75. So what are the value? 29 and 32. 29 and 32, right? And the finally between 32.75 and 35 is, what are the two values?
35.
35, right? So basically what this does is, what this mean is minimum 25, 75, 50 and max is, if you are having a 8 rows, divide it into a equal 4 quantiles. This is my first quantile, second quantile, third quantile, and fourth quantile. How many rows? Just divide into equal 4 parts. So first 25, what it says is, how to interpret this thing is, there are 25% of the values that lies between 21 and 23.5. Then the next 25% of the values lies between 23.5 and 28.5. The next 25% of the values lies between this and this and this and this, right? This is how you read this particular table, right? So it gives you, I mean, when we do the exploratory data analysis later on, after completing Pandas and Seaborn, once we do the exploratory data analysis, you will understand that this is very useful thing. So any questions in this so far? So I just saved this explaining the quantile, and when we are going to learn Seaborn and Matplotlib after Pandas, we are also going to plot these things again over there. Okay. Let's go ahead. So can anyone explain, looking at the input and output, what did we do over here? Can anyone explain first?
Use day as an index value, is it?
Use day as an index value, right? Perfect. So what we did over here was we set index value as a day. This was a column, we brought it as an index. The previous index was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the default index, but we changed the index as a day. Perfect. Let's go ahead. So again, looking at the input and output, can anyone explain what does this do? What does a get dummies function do? Can anyone explain what is this get dummies function doing? Just look
I
these
think
two pieces of a code and look this. What this does?
Meaning,
What is the
meaning
get
if it
dummies
is not
doing?
true, keep 0, right? Like Boolean.
Okay. Okay. So let's try to understand. This is very important thing. So let me show the data as well. Or maybe you can just look from the data from the below and tell me as well. This is my original data, right? This is my original data. This is my original data. Just look at this part. So for the first row, can you tell me what happened?
It rained.
It was rain. So for the rain, you can see this 1. Other thing you can see 0. Can you tell what happened for the second row?
Sunny. It was sunny.
Sunny. It was sunny. So the sunny is 1. Next to this,
Snow.
snow is 1. Next day,
Rain.
rain is 1. Next day,
Sunny.
sunny is 1. Next day,
Rain.
rain is 1. Next day, snow is 1. Right? And so on and so forth. So you can see over here that you have made 1 for those, which was that event, right? So what this get dummies is doing over here, this get dummies is replacing that particular event, rain as 1, sunny as 1, or snow as 1, right? Is it clear? Any doubts over here? Okay. Let's look into
So
the
if
second.
let's say event is NaN, then it will also bring NaN, is it, as a one of the heading?
Event is NaN, then it should also probably bring NaN as one of the heading, or maybe I think so. It should not bring NaN as one of the heading. It should leave everything as 0, but we can try after this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we'll try after this what it does. It should bring everything as 0, 0, 0. Okay, then the next thing, after we get the dummies for it, the next thing we are doing is a concat. Concat on a XS1. XS1 meaning what? Is this a
Column.
XS1? Column, right?
Yeah.
XS1 is this. So we are just doing a concat. So what we are doing a concat? The original dictionary along with a dummy. Original dictionary with a dummy. I mean the original dictionary data frame with the dummy one. So it just concats and we are taking over here and we are printing, right? So we are just doing the concat over here. Okay,